Right, what can you remember about Sunday? Was it warm? Was it windy? Did you walk the dog, play golf, picnic? I don't know. Was it perhaps just not very memorable? Well, that I do know about, because actually it was memorable and important in a sinister way, because Sunday may have been the hottest day ever recorded on Earth. The Copernicus Climate Change Service holds records that stretch back to 1940, and Sunday's average surface temperature hit 62.76 Fahrenheit, just up on the previous record set only on July the 6th last year. Of course, in the day-to-day political world at Westminster and beyond, we have plenty of wiseacre politicians still telling us that the drive to net zero or sustainable energy, that it's all pointless. Drill, baby, drill, the Americans say, and that maybe global warming isn't happening. And if it is, maybe it wasn't us who caused it, and maybe this, and maybe that. Well, this is not that kind of programme. Here we start with the facts. And to help bring us those is Professor Michael Grubb, Professor of Energy and Climate Change from University College London. Professor, very good to have you on the show. Can I start off by asking you whether you are surprised by this data?
Not really, I'm sorry to say. And I can actually bring you up to date, Andrew. The Copernicus Climate Centre's data suggests that yesterday beat Sunday by a more significant margin. So
yesterday was the hottest day recorded on the planet.
This is the hottest day recorded on the planet, and almost certainly the hottest day in history and going back hundreds of thousands of years at least.
So how do you feel about this great movement around the Western world to say, actually, climate science is all bunk, we can relax, we don't need to think about net zero, we don't need to think about sustainable green energy or any of that, it's too expensive, it's too difficult, let's just get on with enjoying our lives?
Well, it's a bit bizarre to see some of that narrative, and I think there are obviously forces trying to maybe give it more prominence than it really has. I mean, actually, I know almost nobody, I see almost nothing now trying to dispute that climate change is happening. It's actually really straightforward. If you put out 40 billion tonnes of heat-trapping gases to the atmosphere every year, at least half of it is going to stay there for a century or more, the planet's going to get warmer. What else could happen? So that has always been very straightforward, very well known, and anyone who disputes that was basically disputing well-established basic science. What gets interesting, of course, the Earth is complicated. Scientists have complicated models to understand exactly what will happen. There will be what scientists would call both positive and negative feedbacks. There'll be more water vapor. Other things happen that may dampen or accelerate. What we've really seen is we're on track, only somewhat worse, and it seems to have accelerated in the last few years.
There must come a tipping point, I suppose, Professor, where absolutely everybody is so discomforted and distressed and worried about this that support for a radically different kind of technology, a different way to produce electricity becomes universal. But we're not there yet, are we?
Well, there's the old saying about, throw a frog into hot water and it will jump out, heat the pan slowly and it will stay there and die. The fear, I think, is that not enough people are engaged and interested at any one particular moment to demand the kind of action required that is complex and has to be sustained. So it's a social challenge, right? It's a social. Actually, a population is worried, but they don't know quite what to do, and they hear conflicting stories about what it will take and how much it will cost.
A social and political challenge, and I just have the sort of smell of slowly burning frog in my nostrils day after day. But Professor, for that, thank you very much. Not for the frogs, but for the advice.